All right, guys, welcome back to the final edition of Computer Applications. For your final project, you're going to be doing a project. But because we wanted to have some mercy on you, we decided that it's going to be a group project, so you'll be partnered up with some people in order to put this project together. We'll give you more details on that when we actually assign this project here, so stay tuned for that. But what I wanted to do in this video is get you set up with what it is that you'll need to do. So as we take a look at that, let's go ahead and jump in. You'll notice that in this project, there is a 7-step process with a presentation going on. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's start at the top. Number 1, right? Creating a list of your product strengths and weaknesses. So if we jump into that, you'll notice that this project is all about creating a fictional company based off of a product you're going to come up with. Right, this product has to have strengths and weaknesses. As you can see, I came up with strengths and weaknesses. All right, pretty straightforward. It's going to be a helpful thing as you start designing your presentation and the various other parts of this assignment. So start off, work with your group, come up with strengths and weaknesses, and it should be in good shape. Things should start to come together from there. One of the other things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a company logo. You'll notice that my company logo is pretty basic, pretty straightforward. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. If you want to go extravagant, by all means, go extravagant, but you can easily do something simple that is a representation of your product, of your company, and keep moving forward with it. From there, you're going to have to use your company logo in order to create what's called company letterhead. Right? Company letterhead has to have, at a minimum, your company logo, your company name, and some way to get in contact with your company. For example, I put a fictional address up here where people could get in contact with Illuminate Incorporated. You don't necessarily have to have everything up here in the header, right? Some people use both the header and the footer. For example, Lutheran High has our shield and our name at the top and our address, telephone number, and fax number at the bottom. So you can play around with that a little bit. But at a minimum, you have to have your company logo, your company name, and some way to get in contact with your company. From there, you're going to end up making a copy of this, and you're going to be creating a letter. Right? In this letter, you're going to be writing a letter to someone that you want to help invest in your product. So you're going to spell out some things that it can do. A lot of them coming from your strengths and weaknesses sheet probably, right? So I go through and I talk about what the pocket lamp is, what it can do, who it can help, and looking at those various things there. So take a look at that, right? Come up with about a page. Should be pretty nice and even. Make sure that you make a copy of your company letterhead because you're going to need to turn in 2 separate documents for that. Notice my company letterhead, nothing here, right? Because I made a copy of this for my company letter. Good. From there, we're going to be taking a look at the prototype, right? Prototyping, there's a couple of different ways you can do this, right? I just did mine in Google Drawings. It was pretty basic, but it got the point across, right? It was a decent sketch, I think, of what my product is. We'll talk about what that is later on. But at a minimum, again, you got to have the front, the back side, left and right side. We got to be able to know exactly what it is that your product looks like and what it can do. If you want to actually build one in some kind of 3D rendering software, by all means, go for it. If you want to actually build a physical prototype, that's absolutely fine as well. Just make sure that we can all view it, so we can see it, and everything should be in good shape with that. All right, from there, you're going to need to do something in spreadsheets, right? In your group, right, you're going to be doing this budgeting project. In order to get your company up and running, right, you were able to get $500,000 together in order to start up this company. What I've done, in order to be a little bit nice to you, is I've actually given you a template. If you open up this file here, it'll take you to this page here, right, where you have this nice little template that I've put together to help you out as you start looking at this, right? So you'll, where it says insert income here, right, you'll delete this, insert the income, right, that $500,000. You'll go in and fill in all these numbers. Make sure that you use formulas to calculate this column of stuff, right? And if you notice, right, I want to point this out and make sure that you see this, right? After you've done these things, You can balance this budget in any way that you choose, right? But then you also have to build a pie chart graph and put it on a new page in your spreadsheet. So those are going to be the things that I'm looking for. I'm going to be making sure you used equations, that use formulas in order to find the numbers, as well as put a pie chart in there that shows how your budget is broken down in your company, and also that you balanced the budget. So take a look at this project. It should be a little bit of fun inside here. Finally, last but not least, remember I told you you're going to be given a presentation, right? The presentation you're going to be using Google Slides for should be pretty straightforward. We'll have some more details on that as it goes forward, but you should have a pretty basic outline of this, right? You have to create a 5 to 10 minute sales presentation walking through your product, and you're going to be delivering this on whatever day you have your final on. So it's going to be to your benefit to make sure that you have this done by the day of your final. So you're going to want to work really hard this week in order to get everything knocked out, put everything together so that you're ready to go when your final is there. So with that in mind, there are some more details that will be forthcoming as we start to dive into this, but you should have a basic primer and know what it is that you need to turn in. So you're going to be turning in 7 different documents. Make sure that you get all of those done. And with that, I'm going to end this last video here, and we'll go ahead and get started.